Good evening and welcome to Business PNG, your weekly look at business news and updates. An exciting new initiative called the Kumul GameChanger Business Plan Competition was recently launched. The initiative will recognize the creativity and innovations and the entrepreneurs behind them, training and resourcing them for success. Business PNG was at the launch to find out more.
So the initiative is it's basically giving an opportunity for people with ideas that can impact, problems that they have in their community as business ideas to submit those ideas, and we will then pick those ideas and entrepreneurs associated with them. We will bring them to Port Moresby, we will put them through an entrepreneurship program, and then we will get them, have them the opportunity to raise funds for their business idea, to pitch to donors, business houses, impact investors. And the idea then is to give an opportunity to actually create some amazing businesses out of this by young Papua New Guineans that can really impact our country's development.
The United Nations Development Programme and the Kumul Foundation, with support from the Australian government, have launched an exciting new business plan competition in Papua New Guinea called the GameChangers Initiative. The program will identify, train and resource PNG's most exciting, emerging, innovative entrepreneurs.
And what we're trying to do is really to tap into some of the entrepreneurs that are out there in our country who have got ideas that can transform our society and help to achieve development goals, improvements in people's lives. That's what it's about. This is a new initiative that we've never tried in Papua New Guinea before, but it's been tried and tested in other places. We're bringing some of those ideas here, but the competition is now open. From today, the minister launched it, and what's going to happen is that between now and March 15th, any entrepreneur in this country can submit their ideas through the website that the foundation talked about. Those ideas will then be looked at by a panel, and we will choose the 40 best ideas, the 40 best entrepreneurs, put them through a detailed training program to give them the skills to be able to pitch their ideas to a wider audience of entrepreneurs, global entrepreneurs, who may be able to fund some of those ideas and so on. So that's the idea. We want to encourage and support more entrepreneurship in this country.
The recent launch kickstarted the first phase of the Kumul GameChangers Business Plan Competition, where entrepreneurs with ideas or existing businesses are invited to submit applications demonstrating the financial viability and social impact of their enterprises. A planned 40 shortlisted entrepreneurs will be announced on the 30th of March 2015, who will then undergo an intensive residential entrepreneurship startup bootcamp training with the Kumul GameChangers Initiative's partners, IBBM, and will then have the opportunity to pitch to potential investors at the Kumul GameChangers Conference in May 2015.
Papua New Guinea's seen amazing growth rates, very impressive. But we also know that many Papua New Guineans are not participating in that economic growth, and we want to see the private sector grow in Papua New Guinea. Private sector is vital to any economy and for growth, and we have some segment of the PNG economy is strong, but we have a lot of people, especially in rural areas, not participating in that and contributing. So we want to increase the productivity of Papua New Guineans, and as we see in many other countries, you need ideas, you need entrepreneurs who've got an idea, got energy, determination, and prepared to take a risk. And so we want to see more of that in Papua New Guinea. And so this scheme is an opportunity, and we'll see. There is no reason why Papua New Guineans are not as creative or innovative as anyone else in the world, and we want to give them an opportunity to grow. So that's why it's important.
The initiative also has strategic partners in the PNG Chamber of Commerce and Industry, the Business Council of PNG, and the Business Coalition for Women. The purpose of the initiative runs deeper than just good ideas being developed, but also help turn these ideas into profitable businesses that will deliver essential services. According to entrepreneur Anthony Smare, director of the Kumul Foundation and a World Economic Forum Young Global Leader, successful entrepreneurship is about solving problems that we face in a sustainable way.
Was fortunate to be selected by, to the Young Global Leaders Forum by the World Economic Forum, and I went around and I met a whole bunch of different entrepreneurs around the world. The guys who founded PayPal, the Facebook guys, all these amazing people, and they told me about how they got started, and they were ordinary people, coming up with solutions to ordinary problems. PayPal was founded by 4 guys sitting in a Chinese restaurant trying to work out how to pay for their meal, and they couldn't get credit cards or anything. And they looked at all their phones sitting in the middle of the table, and they said, wouldn't it be amazing if I sent credit from mine to yours, to yours, to yours, and then we send it to the owner's phone over there. Yep. So, so ordinary people can come up with amazing ideas if you give them an opportunity, or you set up the right infrastructure around them to set up amazing business. And we don't have that here. And so the idea then became, how do we set up that infrastructure? And the best way is through what we've come up with, which is give them opportunity, anybody to put an idea, select the best ones, resource them, and maybe the ideas will work, maybe they won't, but at the end of it, we'll have 40 people who will be trained up, who will be amazing entrepreneurs, and they'll be empowered to go and to change our country.
Also present to show his support was Minister for Trade, Commerce and Industry, Richard Maru, who called the initiative exciting and challenged the initiators of the scheme to remain committed to realize their dream. Minister Maru stated that the handout syndrome will not work and that people must earn the right to be selected under a rigorous process to join such an exciting, innovative scheme like the Kumul GameChanger scheme. Competition is open to all individuals around Papua New Guinea. The deadline for submission is March 15th of next year. The 2015 edition of the finalists will be announced at the Kumul GameChangers Conference, scheduled for May 4th to the 6th, 2015.
The selection criteria is the creativity of the idea. So it's got to be, you got to describe the problem so we know the scale of the problem. That tells us how big the market could be for that, to fixing that problem. And then it's about the idea. Is the idea most likely to work? Is it a new idea? It could be an old idea, but done in a different way. And we then look at it combined with the scale of the problem, we'll put them together and we say, are we likely, is this likely to become a reality? If we invest in this person. And we also look at the entrepreneur. If it's you, we look at, your attributes, what you've done, what your thinking is about these things, how creative you are, and your commitment to making it a reality. Then we put it all together, and then we're going to get thousands of people will apply, and thousands of great ideas, and we'll take the 40 most high potential, but also the most likely to work. And that's how we'll select.
For more information, be sure to visit the newly launched website, www.kumulgamechangers.com. Coming up on the show, a call from the government for investors to maintain investor confidence. Stay with us. During the recent Mining and Petroleum Investment Conference in Sydney, Prime Minister O'Neill addressed current and future investors to maintain investor confidence in the country. Despite global commodity prices dwindling, the nation's leaders stated the country is still as attractive as ever, especially as it's on its way to be one of the world's fastest growing economies. In Papua New Guinea's small economy, trade and investment flows play a determining role in both growth and macroeconomic stability. The economy is gradually rebalancing its traditional dependence on its southern neighbour Australia for both trade and investment, leveraging on Asia's continued appetite for its natural resources. While lower international commodity prices are impacting the pipeline of projects in the traditionally dominant mining sector, PNG's emergence as a major liquefied natural gas exporter in 2014 has attracted global attention, with a second landmark LNG project moving towards a final investment decision in 2016. Recently, however, the 12-nation Organization of the Petroleum Exporting Countries, or OPEC, sent oil prices plunging by saying it would keep daily supply output at 30 million barrels a day despite a global surplus. This has caused much concern in the global community. However, PNG has been reassured that the drop in commodity prices will not heavily affect our industry.
We have to acknowledge that commodity markets are what they are. They rise and fall with supply and demand at any particular point in time. So I think it's important to acknowledge that that may be the case in the short term, but long term, with the development of countries like China, like India, who are short on commodities and will have a huge demand for importing large amounts of commodities. Countries like PNG and Australia, who have a large amount of commodities, will be well placed.
Papua New Guinea has played down the impact of slumping global energy prices, now on the cusp of an energy boom fueled by liquefied natural gas exports to Asia and expected to be one of the world's fastest growing economies in 2015. Prime Minister O'Neill said he was confident PNG would be able to ride out the slump and bring national debt back below a legislated cap of 35% of GDP, despite oil price declines exceeding forecast expectations in the country's recent $6 billion budget.
We have maintained our credit ratings, our kina is strengthened, our balance of payments position is improved considerably, and it will continue to do so. Inflation will be a challenge next year, given our projected record GDP growth. While we can be proud of having among the highest GDP growth in the world, we are mindful of side effects of that growth.
Prime Minister O'Neill, while giving a keynote speech at the recent PNG Mining and Petroleum Conference, spoke about the role of the government in ensuring investor confidence is not undermined by political issues. He urged investors and future investors to continue to maintain confidence and that the government will, in their part, implement policy consistency and certainty.
A sound and secure nation in which you can invest and do business. With our first LNG project, we have the runs on board and many more runs that are being scored as we meet today. We can and we must build on our success. And we cannot do it without the high level of quality foreign investment, foreign management and expertise. Papua New Guinea will continue to enjoy.
Alongside efforts to carve out export processing zones, the government is implementing more extensive reforms and streamlining investment procedures. Reaffirming the PNG government's position, foreign investors have been reassured that Papua New Guinea is still as attractive as ever, and by investing in the country, they will keep PNG in the game. Executive Vice President for Interoil in PNG, Isikeli Taureka, spoke to Business PNG's sister program Resource PNG, assuring the industry is well placed. Interoil is a major stakeholder in the PNG resource industry.
The future for Papua New Guinea is great. In the hydrocarbon space, because that's what I'm familiar with. What I've found and learned over this last couple of days is that, particularly for the resource developers and the exploration people, we need to get out there, invest in making sure that we fulfill our work programs and obligations. The more people out there, the more activity, the more competition that we have out there is very good for the country. So for 2015, I think, despite perhaps a bit of a down dip in the oil price now, I think oil and gas is a long-term cyclical game, and we as developers need to continue our programs to make sure that Papua New Guinea does not miss out in bringing its very substantial resources potential onto the market.
Responding to this invitation by the Prime Minister for investors, the United Nations has called for a cautious and planned approach to new foreign investors. Before further expanding mining and exploration activities in the country, the UN is encouraging government and investors in the extractive industries to review the range of policy options put forward in the National Human Development Report, which was launched in Port Moresby recently. United Nations Resident Coordinator in Papua New Guinea, Mr. Roy Trivedi, says while foreign investment is contributing to the country's economy, better strategies need to be in place to take the significant wealth generated by extractive industries and translate this into meaningful human development for citizens across the country.
For people who are thinking about bringing new investment in this country, please have a look at that report. There are plenty of ideas there that can help them to improve their business model. And it is all about cooperating and making sure some of the ideas that are being talked about there is better understanding of in our society, so that together, my message has always been the same throughout the year I've been here. Governments alone cannot develop the country. It needs all of us working together. And what that report is about is bringing investments from outside, but also making sure those investors understand the reality of the country.
A heavyweight among Pacific Island states, PNG, together with Fiji, accounted for 80% of regional GDP in 2013, according to UN figures. Investors attracted by ample mineral resources face the capacity constraints of a small economy. The formal sector encompasses only 12.5% of the population, and the country remains reliant on trade and investment for successful execution of large-scale projects. Coming up on the show, another edition of Game Changers. Stay with us. Welcome back. In times of great economic prosperity, the very foundations of life and business undergo changes that transform industries and companies. The emergence of earth-shattering business trends redefines the way business is conducted and profits are realized. These are game changers. Apple Pay is a mobile payment service that lets Apple mobile devices make payments at retail and online checkout. It intends to digitize and replace the credit or debit magnetic stripe card transaction at credit card terminals. The service lets Apple devices wirelessly communicate with point-of-sale systems using a near-field communication antenna, a dedicated chip that stores encrypted payment information, and Apple's Touch ID and passbook. To keep transactions secure, Apple uses a method known as tokenization, preventing actual credit card numbers from being sent over the air. Credit cards are verified in just a few seconds, but some cards require a phone call, app download, or an email to verify a card before it can be added to Apple Pay. Once a card is verified, it is immediately available for purchases both in stores and within apps. 8 cards can be registered with Apple Pay at one time. Once a credit or debit card has been added to Passbook, Apple Pay is ready to be used in stores and in apps. In a retail store, when approaching a point-of-sale system compatible with Apple Pay, the screen of the iPhone 6 or 6 Plus will light up and open Passbook automatically, where a user can tap on a credit card to be used or pay with the default card. A finger registered with Touch ID must be kept on the home button for a short amount of time, after which a payment is authenticated and the transaction is completed. A completed payment is denoted by a slight vibration, a check mark on the screen, and a beep. The service keeps customer payment information private from the retailer and creates a dynamic security code generated for each transaction. Apple added that they would not track usage, which would stay between the customers, the vendors, and the banks. Users can also remotely halt the service on a lost phone via the Find My iPhone service. Apple CEO Tim Cook announced on October 27, 2014, that more than 1 million credit cards have been registered on Apple Pay in the first 3 days of its availability, making it the largest mobile payment system as of yet.
Do you have your Balance Rewards card?
I do.
Thank you. So a total will be $9.95.
Okay.
All right. Thank you. Be well.
Thank you. Have a great day.
You too. Thank you.
And that's all we have for you tonight and for this year. It has been an eventful year in the world of business in Papua New Guinea. During the next few weeks, we will be replaying the best episodes of 2014 at the same times of Tuesdays at 8 p.m. with a special one-off New Year's episode on the 30th of December. From me and the team here at Business PNG, we wish everyone watching or in Papua New Guinea a safe and enjoyable festive season. See you all in the new year. I'm Leah Jarari, and this is Business PNG.